I think this is the second longest episode, so a lot. I think a lot has to happen in this episode. We are also now past the halfway point, which, when you think about it already, but I think they've taken really good strides in season 2 because they're not allowing us any bit of reprieve between the two leads. And I think we need that. We need to see the bite and the bark that comes, and also just a little bit of the hurt that comes with the good. Better speak your
할 말
piece.
있으면 여기서 빨리 하고 가.
Oh yeah, that cliffhanger.
필연이도 아직 질투가 나. 아까 질투했잖아. 다경 씨가 술 쏟았을 때도 다 쳐다봤고. 유리컵 깨지는 소리에 반응할까봐.
Why would that be jealousy? Wouldn't that be more concern and care for you?
말했지. 편할 대로 생각하라고.
He does make it about him as well. Have you noticed he sometimes forgets to look outside of his bubble?
옷을 이렇게 입고 있어서 좀 웃기긴 한데.
Your outfit shouldn't matter.
그냥 네가 말했던 것들 다 고칠게. 그럼 되는 거 아니야?
He just wants him back. Did you? I don't think he really wants. Is it not the world around you, maybe? And he's willing to fix himself. You should never want to change everything about you for someone else.
네가 뭘 고칠 수 있는데?
Was that ADR?
똑같이 자고 똑같이 일어날게. 규칙적으로. 그리고 촬영 때.
Yeah, this is what he sees. This life.
그렇게 하도록 노력해볼게. 걱정하지 마. 내가 예민하게 굴었으면 그것도 미안해. 내가 생각해봤는데 그게 다 생활이 불규칙해서 그런 것 같아.
But it's your routine, it's your life, it's your job. He just really wants him back.
지우야.
He just misses
나는
him.
이제 요리사 하면 너밖에 안 떠오르고 파스타도 너고 이탈리아도 너고 한시도 다 너야.
It's because you're in love.
밖에 못 나가는 건 자주 해외 나가든가.
But there you go. You can't go outside. You have to hide that part, and you have to go away to be a couple.
얼굴에 뭐 놨다고 짜자고 하는 거는 안 할게. 안 할 수 있어. 그냥 네가 귀여워서 장난친 거야.
You just wanna look after him, don't you?
사람 불편하게. 원래 그렇게 헤어지면 구질구질하게 굴어? 아니면 나 같은 놈이 너 싫어한다는 게 믿기지가 않아? 야, 한주.
Oh please, you like him.
난 도저히 네가 왜 이러는지 이해가 안 돼.
Yeah, I know he's hurting him, but there are things I think he's overstepping his boundaries and how he talks to him sometimes. Plus these ADRs.
나는 네가 이해가 안 돼. 야, 네 눈에는 내가 무슨 자기에 빠져서 다른 인간 생각 같은 건 하지도 않는 그런 또라이로 보이나 본데. 그렇게 보여. 여기서도 그냥 다 네가 주인공인 것 같지.
He does. I
주인공?
mean, he does have those issues
주인공은 너
sometimes.
아니야?
He also
세상
loves
것처럼
you.
숨기나 하고 제대로 부딪혀보고 해결할 생각은 하지도 않고 자존심만 쓸데없이 세고
That's
빙빙
true.
둘러서 네 속마음은 말도 안 하고 사람 미치게 만들고. 그러니까.
At least they're letting it out.
나도 알아.
He's afraid.
나도 안다고 내가 그런 사람인 거. 나 그런 사람이야. 그래도.
He doesn't think he's worthy of it,
그래도
does
내가
he?
너 좋다잖아. 나는 싫다잖아.
That's a lie. You do like him.
너 나랑 사귀면서 나한테 잘못한 거 없잖아. 아니야? 난
How'd
아무리
you come back from
생각해도
this? When you say you don't like someone,
너가
did you
잡아준 게
kiss
기억이
them?
안 나.
He's owning up to self-sabotage in here.
그냥 다 내 문제였다고.
Okay, this is the heartbreaking episode so far. This is much more gut-wrenching than the last episode. This is hurtful from watching both of them just crumble.
외롭더라. 뭐?
He was lonely, yeah.
외로웠다고. 너랑 사귀는 동안 혼자 지낼 때보다 더 외롭고 힘들었어.
I think that really does make a lot of sense.
근데 내가 너랑 못하러 연애를 해. 뭐 좋자고.
That hurts, though.
그런 말 없었잖아.
Imagine hearing your ex-partner tell you, "I was lonely all
이제
with
정확히
you
알겠지.
and alone."
왜 내가 다시 너랑 연애하기 싫은지.
So it's not because you don't like him. That
지우야,
you can understand
우리가
this
문제가
issue.
있긴 했네. 이렇게 소리 지르고 싸운 건 처음이니까. 우리
That was a good scene. I'm definitely gonna rewatch that scene.
빨리 가자. 형 근데 다음 스케줄이 여기서 몇 분 안 걸리는데 그냥 근처에서 쉬고 가는 게 낫지 않을까요? 집 갔다 오면
I forgot about him.
쉬실 텐데.
괜찮아. 집에 가서 쉴 거야. 지우야, 나 지금 촬영 끝났어.
Wait, is this a flashback?
지금 가면 한 1시간 반? 어때?
Yeah, it is.
재밌는 거 같아?
See, sometimes these transitions just.
드디어 이어지니까 속 시원하지.
Now he's thinking about all the times he was alone. He was alone because he could never have time with his partner. It was always work.
생각해 보니까 진짜 최선을 다했더라고.
But he's not there
치킨이랑 시켜놨는데 먹고 가요.
because they don't. None of them are allowed to know.
중요한 약속이 있어서 너 지금 연애하잖아.
아 맞다, 그치. 그래 이거라도 불고 가요.
But they don't know who this person
Yeah.
is.
내가 평생 함께할 사람을 찾았다고 생각했으니까.
근데 이렇게까지 아닌 거 보면 진짜 아닌 거겠지.
당했구만.
Yeah, but what he's saying here is a bit different from other fights. I mean, this
형,
it's
형 내가
painful.
봤을 때 연애할 때 지극정성이었어. 다른 사람들이랑 술자리도 거의 안 하고 헤어지고도 그래. 왜 헤어졌는지는 모르겠지만.
He knows now.
아니 정말 이리도 정성을 다했는데 아직 반응이 없는 거면
But he's only once.
그냥 인연이 아닌 거지.
How does he look good
그만할
even
때
from this
됐다고
type of
본다.
camera angle?
나 왜 갑자기 슬퍼?
Makes you sad all of a sudden, but you just told him to just leave him. Like, forget it. I will say, this is a human nature of selfishness.
왜?
Even his buddy there, just it was more about him.
그거 다 다음 주 목요일이었나?
You're gonna try and convince him?
왜? 홍도 안 하게?
할 거야. 해야지.
Yeah, he didn't say that. He might be up to something else.
깜짝이야.
But again, notice how it was about him, not about Sojun. Just straight there, it was never about his client. Who are these two? Everyone's awake for different issues.
하경아, 네가 봤을 땐 난 어떤 사람이야?
예?
Yeah, let's see.
나한테는 항상 똑같지.
Consistent.
항상 똑부러지고 항상 지기 싫어하고.
She is competitive, yeah.
지우는 어떻게 생각할까?
좀 다르지 않겠나? 그땐 니도 걔도
Maybe not,
못된
though.
시기였나? 니도 100으로 대학 갈라다가 갑자기 부상당해서 못 가게 되고
Ah,
한지우도
okay.
부모님 잃고 힘들었잖아. 어렵고.
Yeah, but there's more to it than just what you're saying.
그래서 지금 다르게 봤음 하다가도 그때랑 달라서 또 너무 낯설게 느껴지면 어쩌나 싶기도 하고.
I don't feel any.
유아가 한지우 보고 이때까지 계속 아빠라 불렀지.
Yeah, that's. I just don't feel like she's attracted to
근데
Hanju anymore.
사생활이 물러나다 생각했는지 이제
음.
한사장이라 부르더라.
She would have been promiscuous.
네, 참 아이가 없다.
That's quite telling though that she went from calling him dad to Mr. Han. There's a disconnect.
세상에 헤어져도
There's deeper
그리운
meaning.
사람이
Maybe they
있을
didn't
수도
realize in the writing there.
있구나 싶다. 내는 다시 보고 싶지도 않은데 막 뒤졌으면 좋겠다.
Some people
책임감이라고
do.
하나도 없고. 아니 지 딸내미가 삼촌이라 부르는데 아무렇지도 않더라.
Wow, your own
진짜
daughter?
너무한 거 아이가?
Yeah.
난 불러서 한마디 해볼까?
됐다 마. 우리 부모님도 손 뗐지 이제.
Yeah, but that's
아,
your own child?
어떻게 잠이나 자자.
부모님은 잘 지내신다 카더나.
그럼 처음엔 싫다 하더니 이제 유아 보고 싶다고 보고 싶다고.
Yeah, I bet they do miss her. That's their
할매
grandchild.
아픈 거 좀 나아지시면 다시 올라오신다더라.
그때 되면
See,
니도 좀 편할
everyone's
수도
got a nice little story arc here.
뭐
These last two episodes.
다 불편할 수도 있지.
생각해보면 니도 지우도 그대로던데
Maybe that's the problem.
내만 너무 변한 것 같기도 하고.
Maybe them not changing at all
내가
is the
봤을 때
problem.
니도 그대로.
You're supposed to kind of change a bit as you get older.
그래 가스나야.
가스나 진짜 오랜만에 듣는다.
아, 난네 서울말 아직도 적응 안 된다. 징글징글하다 막.
에?
왜 무슨?
밤 좀 납시다.
Did you think she's a very honest kid? Little OCD coming into play. Everyone has their own little quirks. And we know when he's feeling something and he is clustered in his mind, he has to clean. He just has to do something.
계세요.
누구십니까?
Again, it's got his face on it.
아시다시피 강서준인데요. 어떻게 나오는 거예요, 이거 진짜?
What is he up to in this moment?
졌다 졌어. 너무 잘하시네. 여기 다찬마을 아니고 그 타짜마을 아니에요 여기?
아니 내야지요.
He,
선생님들
still here, he's still connecting with the town.
보는 눈 있으시네.
But again, this just doesn't feel genuine, does it? Because he's playing a role here.
유아야, 강서준이랑 노는 거 엄마한테 허락 맡은 거야?
응. 이제 우리 엄마랑 서준 아저씨랑 순한.
He knows how to work people. 강수준. He really does.
강서준 거의 여기 이제 모든 할머니 할아버지들이랑 친하더만.
Yeah, we've noticed.
장부 시장에서 보고 가격도 이만큼 내렸는데 장사가 안 되는 건 문제 있는 거 아이가?
Uh-huh. But I wonder if I don't know if he even cares if the business does bad.
싫다더만.
Yes, he does. He does care. He's doing the coupons idea. Who thought of that? See? Little connections here.
조심히 들었나?
아이고 알았다.
어이,
안녕하세요.
니그 방송인가 그거 안 한다 했나?
내가 볼게네. 여 방송 타면 이 주변에 상권도 다 살고 우리 감도 팔고 뭐 그럴 수 있다 하던데.
그게
꼭 한다 해.
This is what I don't like that he does. He gets them to do this.
또 말을 안 하노.
됐고.
I-
우선 꾸준하게 해장할 것 좀 내오고 방송은 꼭 한다 해라. 막 방송이 그게.
See, I don't like what Kangston does here. I know she finds it sweet. Now, see, I don't like this. To me, that's really underhanded.
호민아.
지금 출발해야
No.
된다니까요. 하셨죠?
했어. 걱정하지 마. 너 벌써 촬영장이야?
Oh, sorry, there was a shift in the camera there. I don't know what happened with the film in there. It shifted a little bit to the left and then came back to the right. Let's see the picture you're looking at. We're gonna see. I can't tell if it's his parents or it's them as a couple. 14, that makes sense. So yeah, he said yes to recording. It's just the way it went about. I found it very underhanded, very. I understand it's helping not just the restaurant, even though that is Sojan's thing, is helping the man he loves. It's helping the business in the area. It's just.
자, 드디어 아무도 모르는 시골 대박나자 프로젝트 시골 식당이 100회를 맞이했습니다.
드디어 그렇게 됐군요. 100회.
아, 네, 맞습니다. 그래서 오늘은 특별히 아주 특별한 게스트 한 분을 모셔봤습니다. 아, 이분 모시기
Let's
진짜
see. We know who the.
저도 그 친구 완전 팬이에요. 아주 오늘 기대가 됩니다.
네, 그러면 바로 모셔보도록 하겠습니다.
네.
자, 했다 하면 대박나는
대박.
외모면
Where have I seen this actor before?
연기면 연기,
The one on the right.
성격까지 완벽한
아,
배우 강서준 씨.
반갑습니다.
스튜디오가 환해졌어요.
아유, 감사합니다. 원래 화냈었어.
He is very bright when he's around
겸손하다,
people.
진짜 연예인
겸손해.
보는 기분. 잘생겼어.
아,
아, 네, 반갑습니다.
너무 좋습니다. 네, 시청자 여러분들 인사
아,
한번. 네.
정식으로 한번 부탁드리겠습니다.
네, 여러분 안녕하세요. 아시다시피 강서준입니다. 반갑습니다.
네, 아, 반갑습니다. 감사합니다. 네. 오늘 자 그러면 본격적으로 소개를
Oh,
시켜드릴
Gio.
식당이
네.
젊은
He's-
셰프가
Yeah, he's gonna notice the cameras.
이태리 식당인데 우리 강서준 씨랑 같이 뭐 친분이 있으시다고 들었는데요.
그렇죠. 2년 전에
Oh, this makes me so
브이로그에
uncomfortable for
잠깐
him.
출연하셨던 분이죠.
네, 저 봤어요. 그 계란김밥.
맞습니다.
계란김밥.
그때 정말 둘이 케미
Of
정말
course he
좋으셨잖아요.
네, 케미가 정말 좋았죠.
네.
반갑네요.
I like the hidden meaning for him
바로
there in
같이
that
가서 한번
moment.
먹어볼까요?
그럴까요?
가시죠.
네, 다녀오십시오.
네. 안녕하세요. 야, 이 레스토랑이 너무 예쁜데요?
It is a pretty place.
아, 요즘 트렌드에. 뭐 여기 앉을까?
안녕하세요. 오랜만이네요. 그쵸?
아, 얼굴이 너무 경직됐네. 긴장할 거 없어요.
Such an.
오랜만에 방송에서 긴장했나 보다. 긴장 풀어요.
네, 긴장 풀고 자신 있는 요리로 한 두 개
But you-
먹어봐요.
Yeah, I would wipe myself as well. I don't understand why he's nervous though. He's an introvert, very introverted person.
만족하고 좋네.
일판 너무 예쁘네요. 일판 뷰.
But he makes amazing food.
지금 이거
And
만든 거
Kansugen,
까르보나라 맞죠?
he knows this.
제가 또 까르보나라 정말 좋아합니다.
Carbonara.
막힘이 없네.
No, this when he's good at something, he is.
잘해요.
아 그래요?
오, 솜씨만 보면 아주 수준급인데요, 이거.
I was going to say that's not carbonara, and then I looked at the finished product, and I was like, yes, it is.
까르보나라와 오소부코입니다.
Also,
오소부코? 오소부코 뭐야?
어때요, 강선우 씨는?
요리 잘하는 건 알고 있었는데 생각보다 더 좋은데요? 고급 레스토랑에 온 것 같고.
you can see they both really enjoy it.
맛있는데?
They can ask what's in it.
맛에는 흠이 없는데 시장성이 없네요.
Oh, is it too
저도 그렇게
high end?
생각해요. 메뉴도 죄다 어렵고. 그 퓨전 양식 해볼 생각은 없어요? 감자전에 치즈 올린 것처럼.
Fusion foods, yeah.
이탈리아 요리점이라는 정체성을 지키고 싶었습니다.
He doesn't like to change, does he? He
이탈리아
doesn't like to
요리점이라는
adapt.
정체성이라 일단 가게 이름부터가 어려워. 사람들이 막 부지런하게 뜻을 찾다니거나 그러지
That's telling the
않아요.
audience to look up the meaning of the name.
기억을 해야 또
As in-
찾아보지. 강선순 씨도 무슨 뜻인지 모르잖아.
No, he doesn't know
아니, 뭔
because he
뜻으로
never
한 거예요?
paid attention to that. This is really highlighting.
손님을 기다린다는 뜻이었습니다.
그래, 티 아스페토.
Because I'm waiting for you.
누군가를 기다린다는 뜻이잖아.
Now he
뜻은
understands.
좋아도
See?
기억에 남지를 않아, 어려워서. 그리고 장사는 수익이 나야 하지. 보니까 이 오소부코 같은 경우에는 송아지 뒷다리 정강이 찜인데
She's an expert.
생소할 뿐만 아니라 이 한식에 익숙한 시골 마을에 어울리는 음식은 아니지.
So she wants him to change everything.
고집을 좀 버려보시는 게 어때요? 아니면 여기 장사 좋고 호텔로 가시든가.
아니, 강선우
That was
씨
really
세네.
rude. That was really,
일단
really
그
rude.
너무 비싼 재료나 최상급 재료들을 좀 바꿔보는 거.
그 옛날 맨키로 반복되는 거 아닌가 싶기도 하고.
그때랑 같나? 우리 피해보는 거 없는데.
그래 맞다. 저 서주희 말대로 뭐 우리 지역 경제 활성화에 도움이 안 되겠나? 에?
아이고 내가 웬만하면 주민들 얼굴 잘 안 나오고 해야 된다. 괜히 옛날면 그러고 카메라들 들어와가지고 막좀 이상한
Happened
소리
before.
하고
I don't know. I know I'm probably in the minority in how I'm feeling about this episode. I like the episode. But then I'm really on Q's side in this episode.
부모가 문제지. 안 그래?
His parents?
나는
Why?
모르겠다.
I do not like these villagers at all.
뭐 촬영 너무 재밌게 잘 나오긴 했는데요.
네, 혹시 강서준 씨랑 한지우 씨
Yeah, the
사이가
way
좀
Kang
안 좋아요?
Soo-jun spoke to him, I don't appreciate that fakeness.
무슨 일 있었어요? 아니요, 뭐 그런 건 아니고 그냥
No, they got on.
느끼기에 분위기가.
잠시만요. 네? 네? 일 잡혔겠다고요?
The fact that I don't know, because what she said about her calling him Mr. Handa, it's kind of sad. She just kind of distanced herself,
아, 뭐 어때? 봐봐라.
even if she calls out to him.
승윤 언니 대박이지.
이 팔찌는 제가 20살 때 만든 팔찌인데요. 저한텐 아주 큰 의미가 있어요.
Mhm.
그 시절을 고스란히 담아놓은 제 보물 상자이기도 하고.
Yeah, I wonder if this little girl knew though what she was doing.
너 바빠가지고 오늘은 내가 유하라.
재밌었다.
그럼 갈게.
Okay, yeah, make it awkward, why don't you? She's like a little hurricane, isn't she? She's like a tornado, that little girl. She's a whirlwind. She's like a Tasmanian devil. Do you remember that TV show?
너무 친하게 지내지 마. 그냥 조심해서 나쁠 거 없잖아.
But see, the villagers blame parents. What did the parents do? 방금
고맙지 진짜. 오늘 한치도 촬영이라 괜히 진땀 뺐는데.
고맙긴. 내가 오늘 유아 덕분에 너무 재밌었는데? 그치 유아야?
응, 다양한 사람 밑에서 다양한 관점 배우며 지내는 중. 사랑 언니 굿나잇.
진짜 애교 부리는 거좀 봐라. 니랑 똑 닮았다.
Oh no, she was up to something.
니도 오늘 뭐 인터뷰 나왔더만. 니랑 이장님이랑 뭐 나왔다고 난리더라. 자. 니 아직도 이거 좋아하나? 당연하지.
It is nice to see her come back into town and she build up her friendships again. But
장가자는 싫대. 뭐 입맛이 바뀐 걸 수도 있지만.
she knows his tastes have changed. I think she needs to have her closure. That's what I get a sense from her, that people keep reminding her of the past. And she needs to have that closure, settle everything.
이거 기억나? 우리 둘이 제일 좋아하는 과자였는데 애들이 놀렸었잖아.
Favorite.
근데 너 단 거 안 좋아한다며.
안
The
좋아한다기보다
metaphors in this.
그냥
솔직히 말해도 되잖아. 아무 사이도 아닌데. 고등학생 때랑 다르게 성인 되니까 뭐
Look at him listening.
만날 수가 없더라고. 사실 여기 와서도 너랑 얘기 많이 하고 싶었는데 인터뷰 핑계 겸 불러냈어. 팔집 말은 해야 될 것 같아서.
See, this would mean she's facing the past.
혹시 너 내가 헤어지기 전에 했던 말 기억나?
네가 마지막에 보냈던 문자?
I mean, I'm sure he does remember.
기억나지? 잊지 말라며. 죽을 때까지.
And then he forgot when he was happy.
다 기억하는구나.
Of course he's gonna remember that.
진짜 미안해. 내가 미쳤었지. 나 바로 후회했어. 미안해. 내가 너한테
Still
나쁜 말도
sent it.
많이 했는데 그것도 진짜 미안. 이 자리를 빌어서 진짜 진심으로 사과할게.
괜찮아.
At least someone, she's grown up. Like she can hold herself accountable.
누가 옆에 있어도 누가 또 필요할 때가 있더라고.
Ouch.
그때 있잖아. 나는 네가 항상 옆에
이거-
있어줘서
He needed someone else.
외롭지 않게 따뜻하게 잘 보냈어. 너랑 사귀는 동안 요리만 생각할 수 있었던 것도 다 네
But
덕분이라고 생각해.
he can't focus on the cooking because he has something else on his mind. He has more than one happiness. There's a lot of meanings behind this.
그리고 나는 그렇게 못해줘서 미안해.
But they needed this.
그땐 내가 마음이 좀 아팠었나 봐. 그냥 그럴 때가 있잖아. 내가 뭘 잘했다고. 계속 마음에 걸렸었는데 이해해줘서 고마워.
This relates to his own troubles now.
우린 무슨 9년? 9년도 더 된 얘기를 이제 하네.
그러게.
That was a long time ago, but it could take a long time to heal
그동안
from something.
네 생각 많이 했는데.
네 생각
Thinking about you as well.
나도 많이 했어.
But I don't feel like it's in a relationship. I get the feeling it's more about the past and the mistakes, all of that.
보고 싶기도 했어?
지우에게도 특별한 사랑이 있었다.
A lot of people do, yeah.
더 많이 가슴이 아린.
He left before he heard the rest of that. Again, Kang Seo-jun left before he heard the rest of what they're talking about. And that's clearly an intentional move so that we understand what's going on, but he has to find out at a later date. This, as an overall episode, was beautiful. There's a lot of pain. I really felt for Kang Seo-jun when they had the argument, or when Hanji was saying he doesn't like him. Because then it's like, don't say that. Don't say these things that you could regret down the line if you do get back together. Plus, it's just not true. It's okay. As it went along, he spoke about the reasons. And it makes perfect sense why he felt alone. More alone with him than being single. It made sense because they were like a secret. You know, he was always working, and there comes elements with it that they spoke about and how what he's like when he's got a role, when he's preparing. Plus, he was always on the go, but it was never time for them, just themselves. They couldn't really be out together in the open. It's not truly accepted yet, which is always a really hard thing to hear about and a sad thing when there are still so many limitations on same-sex couples. And then there are things that Kang Seo-jun does and little Yuha that really bug me. But I like how it's still done, if that makes sense. Like they're sneaky, but I like how their characters are developing, what they're introducing. But with Seo-jun, it's how I don't like this fake aura that he gives off. I understand he's being an actor and he's having to kind of present this persona, but it's not him. It's fake. And yes, there's a certain way you've got to be in the public eye when people are famous and they expect it of you. But you can sense it's fake as well. I don't know, it just radiates from me that he's not being his true self. And there's only a few people who spot that. The villagers can't say they're the best, but they gave you this nice little moment to think about when they spoke about the parents and what had happened before, what they had done with the town. There's clearly resentment or issues that the elderly people have against Jiu, but it seems more about the parents. They weren't that harsh on him if you think about it, the way they were speaking. It was almost as if they can see he's trying, but they got that stern, strict, elderly way of speaking and interacting. And I will say this with Seo-jun, there are moments where you can see he's really trying to help Chiyu. He wants him to succeed, but there's always kind of a selfish meaning behind it. He is very much spotlight on me. He makes it about me, but he's not the only one. There are numerous characters in this show that have that tendency to make it about them. And it's only when you can see it through this that you realize it. You know, the bigger picture sometimes is they've got to take a step back and not be the focal point. And I think Kang Seo-jun has to learn that he does things that benefit him, and he has to understand that it can't always be like that. And Chiyu has to be more open. He can't just shut himself off, afraid to lose someone else. And there's this whole thing of, yes, opposites attract, but there still needs to be commonality. There still needs to be common things that they enjoy that bring them together as well. But yeah, Seo-jun being sneaky, it's not that's why I said I was in the minority. Things like that he does, to me personally, I'm not a big fan of. And with the villagers and them all coming and doing that, it's just things I'm not a fan of how it goes about, because it's putting Chiyu in an uncomfortable situation, even if it is to help him. And then when they were critiquing his restaurant, I understood, and it was constructive. That is what constructive criticism is. Not from Seo-jun, from that lady. She gave very good constructive criticism, which was about the menu being difficult, the name of it, understanding like the market, trying to help him. But there was also that bit of narrow-mindedness where it's as if, and I think you can think about this around the world, where sometimes you have to expand what you like and try other foods. And sometimes it feels as if Chiyu does this on purpose because he wants the restaurant to be quiet and away, but also to express how good of a cook he is and things he's learned. But at the same time, you want people to understand that there's other foods out there. But like, she was constructive, whereas Seo-jun, I think, was just really harsh, and there was no need. I understand the shock of him finding out what the name of the restaurant meant. Made him realize just how much Jiu cared, but I didn't like how he spoke to him and what he said. I think that was very harsh, very underhanded, and that's kind of what he does when he's hurt. There's so much to unravel with this, and I'm so glad that Jiu and Songyun are getting, after 9 years, their moment to speak and what they're talking about. And it does hurt as an audience member, plus for Seo-jun, is hear someone say, his ex-partner say, I felt warm with you. I felt all these things that he said he didn't feel with him. But if it didn't work with her and he was feeling these things, there's got to be a reason. And it's definitely I felt a closure moment between both of them. She needs to know that, I think also she needs to express to him she understands why it didn't work. But also, there's so many mixed messages, there's so many metaphors, there's so many hidden meanings in the wording in this, that as you watch it go along, like, oh, I understand better now. But with Hugh, he did forget her because he became happy, and he does love Seo-jun. It's just there are so many things in the way, and it's, are you willing to always fight this uphill battle? And clearly at this point they weren't. But with the name of the restaurant, he was always waiting for someone, and he's waiting for his happiness. I think he needs to find his in between. And he said, when he was with that, and but also needing someone else. That someone else clearly, I think, is Seo-jun. That's who he needed. There's so much to unpack. It's a very strong episode. Very, very strong episode. There are moments I'm going to have to really go back and look at, because I think there's very telling moments